My name is Mohammad Asad Khurshid Sheikh. My roll number is 17112051. I am a student of Chemical Engineering Department, and today I am going to present a topic on petroleum refining practice and prospects in India. Introduction. The oil refining industry is the cornerstone of a modern economy. The refined petroleum products remain fundamental to our economic life in everybody's daily life and economic activities of the nation, ranging from domestic cooking to transportation, employment, etc. Rapid economic growth in many developing countries has led to increased demand for oil products. As such, the refining industry has grown rapidly in such countries whether or not there is crude oil production in the domestic scene. Asian developing nations have experienced significant growth in petroleum product demand and refinery expansion. Recorded an average annual increase of 5.2% and 4.3% respectively, though in comparison with world figures there was in effect no change recorded for the same period. The considerable gains in the region's crude oil production in 1970s are believed to have facilitated refinery expansion. This trend of rising demand for petroleum product, coupled with concentration of petroleum reserves in very few geographical areas, as well as the difference in crude quality and environmental legislations among other factors, pose challenges as well as opportunity for global petroleum refining industry as a whole. The ability of India's refining industry to meet its economic challenges will likely determine in part the nature of energy challenges facing India, taking cognizance of the fact that it is a developing country with growing demands. An overview of petroleum refining in India. India's downstream refining sector has the 8th largest refining capacity in the world. India's oil refining sector is dominated by state-owned enterprises, although the market share of private company has increased of late. The Indian Oil Company is the largest state-owned company, and it operates 10 of India's 18 refineries. Reliance Industries, a private Indian firm, opened India's first privately owned refinery in 1999 and has gained a significant market share in India's oil sector. As of January 2008, the country's had 2.26 million barrel per day of crude refining capacity, according to Oil and Gas Journal. Reliance Industries, a privately owned petroleum company in India, has the largest refining complex in the world with capacity of 1.24 million barrel per day, the Jamnagar refinery. India plans to add 1.6 million barrel per day of refining capacity based on current proposed projects. Anticipated high demand for petroleum product in the region makes further investment in India's refining sector likely. India is steadily emerging as an international destination for oil refining, with investment requirements lesser by 25% to 50% compared to its Asian counterparts. Being the 5th largest nation in the world in terms of refining capacity, it enjoys 3% of international capacity share and is expected to enhance its refining competence by 45% in the next 5 years. In a bid to make their presence felt more strong in the global market, Indian petroleum firms are also considering increasing their refining capacity. Challenges of petroleum refining in India. Key changes faced by refining industry have come with challenges alongside. First is the increase in demand for light petroleum products, gasoline, diesel, jet fuel and kerosene. Regulation on product specification are also stricter. Specification on sulfur, aroma and olefins for gasoline and sulfur cetane number and polyaroma for diesel are strengthening. The changes and challenges of Asia's refining industry revealed that sharp increase in demand for light petroleum products as a result of advances in transport sector has been recorded over the year. First, the need to invest. Second, effect of subsidies on product pricing. Third, cost of product refining. Fourth, quality of petroleum products. The need to invest. The need to invest in capacity expansion for the future in India is important considering expected demand increase and current capacity utilization at about 90%. India's refining capacity, based on Institute of Electrical Engineers of Japan, export is expected to increase. There is also need to invest in all-inclusive approaches like the DuPont acid plant to equip refinery with twofold capability to process acid gas and sulfuric acid regeneration, which would enable maximizing a refinery's sulfur recovery unit capability, emission reduction, and direct manpower and capital toward hydrocarbon processing projects. Effect of subsidies on product pricing. The process of price and market liberalization is another issue to be addressed. Petroleum products prices in India, like in many developing countries, are controlled through subsidies. Petroleum product prices in India were regulated through the administered pricing mechanism. The Indian government introduced measures designed to deregulate the downstream oil sector. This enabled private refiners to directly trade petroleum products to customers. The APM operated such that refineries, oil marketing companies and pipelines were assured a 12% post-tax return on net worth and were reimbursed for operating costs. A self-balancing pool account was used to balance prices of petroleum product as well as to protect customers from volatility in international crude prices. The oil pool account, however, ran into deficit whenever domestic prices were not raised in line with prolonged international crude prices increases. The assured 12% post-tax return, however, did not promote efficiency or the most efficient investment decision. The consequence of price control being that private companies are unable to sustain operations when international crude prices are very high, thus having to shut down their retail operations. And those who have restarted have no confidence to invest in capacity expansion or upgrade their operation, as crude price increase could render them unprofitable since they have no protection from international crude price changes. Cost of product refining. The cost of refining petroleum product is of concern, as can be seen from data presented in earlier section. India's oil consumption exceeds what is available or produced locally, and this is pointed to the fact that in order to maintain the same level of consumption, it has to resort to imports which have got their cost implications. Historically, refining has been significantly less profitable than other segments of the petroleum industry. As such, refiners have had to be careful to control cost to make profit. In some countries, refineries are not productively utilized. Since refineries make low profits, investors may not be willing to engage in competition. This affects both investment in infrastructure as well as refinery capacity expansion. Government control low prices also cause another problem. This is because in order to sell refined petroleum products at a better price, national oil companies tend to export as much as they can, and this can cause supply shortage on the domestic market. Though to combat this, the government has issued emergent policies such as imposing export taxes to limit export. The situation depicts pricing not being reflective of what the true cost of product refining. It is a further indication that the prevalent pricing need to be addressed. The supply and demand balance therefore show random fluctuations which inhibits the market's ability to represent fundamental demand and supply. Quality of petroleum products. The quality of petroleum products is also of concern. In line with climate change objectives and environmental legislations, every country is to cut down its carbon emission and make fossil fuels more environment friendly. The quality of crude oil imports to India, mainly sour, is challenged as a result of stringent product quality requirements currently in place. A reorientation of consumption toward light fraction or installation of hydrocracking plants for heavy fraction is thus required. Opportunities of petroleum refining in India. There are ample opportunities abounding in India's petroleum refining industry. The creation of additional refining capacity during the near future of 110 million tons per annum will require an investment of over 2.2 US billion dollars. This will cause a remarkable growth in the refinery sector, transfer of technologies and export of capital goods etc. to India. It is designed that the technologies will be for upgrading the bottom of the barrel and to meet the pressing demand for middle distillates, which will improve the quality of petroleum products to make them globally competitive and environment friendly. The strategy behind the new capacity addition is to locate the new refineries on the coasts, while the main centers of demand for the petroleum products are in the inland locations, particularly in northwest regions. This leaves India with opportunities of building inland refineries. The government also allowed the existing refineries forward integration in fields of petrochemicals etc. for better value addition, which opens up another area for investment. India also is adopting strict measures that will increase the quality of fuels which will make them environment friendly. These measures include phasing out lead, reducing benzene in gasoline, cetane, improvement of diesel and sulfur reduction. Although the upgradation of fuels will require huge investments of about $2.5 billion, it has added advantage considering that refinery operating costs are low. This will make India's refinery to be economically attractive for the domestic markets as well as for exports. Government promotion of joint sector and private sector participation could also potentially lead to the growth in the refinery industry.